Facts. I'm actually
All
sitting
right.
on the stool.
Oh, you're on the stool. Okay. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this quick live. We're gonna talk about all fun things experience, and I have two very special guests who I consider great friends of mine and colleagues, Lisa Lavender and Sean Basilione. And we're gonna talk about a bunch of stuff. But first, let's talk about hands on, where we're going, what we're doing, why it's important. I know we have some pretty hefty lineups for the spring. So I'll let kind of Sean go in and dive into like what we're expecting.
Oh my gosh. It's in our virtual world where we reconnect to each other, we have to define and really take advantage of those opportunities to connect, train, and become better professionals. Our live pavilion for the experience coming up here in Florida in Punta Gorda. Yeah,
Yes, you said it right. You said it
all right,
right.
that one. Oh, thank you for my coffee assistant here. Anyway, that's coming up. I got the espresso. But we're excited to see to be able to connect with each other there and do some really, I think, deep dive stuff. I think a lot of folks don't realize that these programs, and we have more intimate setting where we're able to connect with each other on more of an intellectual level of our business operations. We're going to have some great opportunity for testing cleaning results. We're going to look at some really interesting techniques and discussion and what methods work for cleaning, flooring, identifying area rugs and knowing how to pick out when they're expensive things. It's going to be great. We're going to have a good time, and it always is fun at these live events as we try to really bring a lot of activity and opportunity in a really short period of time so we can give you time to go to the beach or do some fun stuff also.
I was going to say best of both worlds in session where you're, looking at things, asking questions, but then going in and being able to physically see things, maybe even be pulled up for some of this hands-on stuff and be volunteer distribute, huh?
Kayla, Lisa, I got to tell you, our plant, the lineup, I was looking at today again at the attendees and the speakers like Amy Prihoda and some of those great jewels of our industry that are not necessarily out there in this kind of a public arena as much to share with their family heritage base. I mean, she comes from a really long history of carpet cleaning, family business run in Connecticut that just has done phenomenal for their family and others around. And it ties together for our activities in these during the trade show. And those are the third and fourth, or the second and third day of the show. During the trade show hours is where our live kind of tie together and discussions and sit down and some presentations that really tie to the topics going on during the day in the other times.
Yeah, that's so key. And Lisa, to kind of go off of that, I mean, we have some great people coming in and helping too. We have someone from Australia coming and taking part in our, hands-on portion. And I think to Sean's point is you not only get the in-class experience, right, where you're learning and digesting as far as listening and visually, seeing data and stats and all of that, you're actually going to see how it ties in to what we're doing in the field and how you can learn about, all types of different things, honestly. And we're bridging the gap between all the other industries that we work with, right? I think that's also the other thing, like you mentioned, Sean, generational, right? We have industrial hygienists coming in, we have people from the marketing side, business side, and then restoration side, we've got people in all generations, right? Lisa, I think you can kind of talk about that as far as the restoration pavilion.
Oh yeah, we have a full gamut. Old faces we've now, not old, but experienced, and new instructors and leaders in our industry. We have Brandon Adams. He's going to be helping us with some thermal imaging, and him and John Perella are going to be working on setting up ducting, both lay flat and rigid. Very exciting for those of you who work in water mitigation, mold remediation.
Lisa, are we talking like indoor air ducting ventilation?
Well, it helps us. Yeah, we use it in all different scenarios. And so one of the things, I mean, I think we have like just a cool array because we have the ducting, we have thermal imaging. Evie from Australia is going to be showing us some new techniques and approaches she's beta testing, which is so cool because it's like being a part of that and potentially being a part of history of a new technique and touching those things. It's so hard with Sean, you know. It's like, I
I'm distracted.
feel like energy and inadequate. Wait, I got my okay, because Sean's making me do this. So one of the things, and it is great, it's awesome and fun to work with Sean. But that's one of the things that me and him, when we both him on the cleaning pavilion, restoration pavilion, instantly we really wanted to bring everybody together. And that's what this is about, because there's so much overlap. We're doing flooring failures. We've worked together on flooring. That's such a big area. And so it's not about cleaning and restoration. And because I have to like try to, I don't know if I can get this on. Oh, this is my first prop for the restoration pavilion, which I think everybody can relate to. So this is going to be one of it's a kit of 3 disgusting smells. I won't read the first one as a bad word. And so does the second one. And yeah, so we're going to be doing some fun interactive things on principles of controlling odor. And so, but we have a great lineup.
I watched a meme. It was something about a hippo flinging poop when they go to the bathroom at the. It must be. Are you going that far? How stinky are we talking?
Well, trust me. My wheels are turning. John Perella is doing the odor presentation, and I'm kind of getting a lot of eye rolls while we brainstorm. Like I'm putting want to put dead animals in walls and fake poop, and just let everyone have some fun with it. But.
Well, I'm going to bring my forensic tools. I will have my black lights with me. We're going to take some close, deep dive looks. I was recently in a hotel that I did a really deep dive with Jeff. I talked with him recently at ISSA, or at another event that we were at just recently, and it was we were discussing what is clean, and that's really the theme of my pavilion area. Working in the cleaning areas, what is clean, and we're going to talk clean to different levels. We're going to look UV visuals. We're going to take some samples during the cleaning processes to, did that accomplish another level of clean? We're taking a deep dive, a real forensic look, and we're going to cover the core of what should you do to actually properly take care and restore these surfaces of carpet, luxury vinyl, plank are going to be our focus surfaces and then area rugs. We have Ruth Travis going to come do some identification on to look at those. And if you're a restoration professional, it's flooded. Don't you want to know if that's a good rug or a crappy one? You better come and connect on how to deal with that. So Lisa, you're so right. Connecting us and the connection of cleaning, inspection, restoration that we get to make here, indoor air quality assessment, health cleaning, is such a fun time to really understand that. And these Florida events have always been my favorite time to connect at these tight levels and real deep forensic looks.
Well, and Sean, I literally think I got goosebumps with your cleaning, what you guys are going to be doing, because that is so important. And that's kind of the moral of the story is we're all doing these things and restorers are responsible to be clean. So I really just would love everybody just to open your mind, look at those topics. It's not about what pavilion, because it's all connected, and that's what it's about. Is because what you just said, and again, we're doing a deep dive on HEPA vacuums, HEPA filters. It's all again connected. What did I clean? The odors. That's kind of part of the moral of the story. If it smells clean, does that mean it's clean? No. Now, if it smells nasty, it's probably nasty.
Is it clean to who, right?
Right. And then there's standards. What are the standards? What are we calling clean? I joke all the time. I'm like, you walk into medical office and you smell the smell and your mind instantly makes an assumption of what you think that air and the surfaces and the floor, and that's not necessarily the case. And so what you're doing there is going to be so cool. And again, it's just all really connected. And we keep saying that word, but it is.
Hey, what's John going to focus on in odor? What's hot? What's going on? What's his, is he identifying it? Is he solving it? What?
Well, I really wanted to make odor a little crazy. So we're going to talk about the difference of first of all, it sounds like a simple step of source removal, but we're going to do a deeper dive because of what we just said. how, you know, how often do we just spray something and say it smells good,
Yeah.
right? And oh, it smells clean, so it must be clean. So we want to kind of like get people just like really in tune with the basic principle of source removal, and but also just like get an understanding. And because it's odor, obviously you can see I'm pushing that we make it a little bit of fun. So yeah, we're going to find some sources, but really kind of break down with the different types and how to handle those. Some of the equipment out there, there's some new great equipment that we want to feature and show people. So we're excited to do that.
Lisa, I just held an odor, one of my IICRC OCT classes recently, odor control technician courses. And, you know, I had a bunch of students. It was a group of people that do, you know, basically animal containment. I mean, they're exterminators. They're going in there, they're trapping. They're with a wildlife group. They had to trap and they had to know the rules and how to relocate bats. And it was an industry of dealing with a great odor problem that ends up being in homes,
Wow.
barns, in environments, cabins, all the different builds and environments where we get odors built up. And we got to really just have it was a fun interaction of not your typical, I'm a fire restoration person, or I'm an industrial hygienist level cleaner. It was a real world. We're going in hunting and we're going to find that source. And they were dealing with, what do we do after that? And the neat project they talked about was a bell tower they were doing where a bunch of bats had been living in. And it was super cool. It was a fun thought of how would you tackle that? How would you build an interior containment to make your employees safe, to correctly get things, to not hurt the historic building in the removal and the restoration. And it was just, and it was all about, you know, and not having it smell for maybe church goers or patrons or something, or in the environment near it, when they're containing what they were doing, if it made the environment with worse, like thermal fogging or chlorine dioxide treatments. And man, anyway, we get into these discussions. We dive deep. Oh, it's so fun.
And I see Nick from Vapor Tech chiming in. Yes, Vapor Tech is it definitely, while you're at the experience, and we'll get some of those products.
Oh man, I actually have their Duo unit, and I love that capacity to be able to plug it in, take it in, leave it for a timing for just extended treatments. And the VaporTech line of products has just been super. Actually sitting over in the other side of the studio there, I took the background today, but that's great stuff.
Absolutely. I had to put some of it in my house. I won't discuss the source, but yeah.
We run into the situations at our house too, right?
It happens to all that. That's so cool, Sean. And to your point, you know, sometimes we take odor control as a discipline for granted, but it is something that everybody outside of it's not just for the restoration or cleaning professional. It impacts everybody. And there's so many use cases. So it's a really cool way to get expertise, check it out, and connect with other people. I mean, outside the industry, because everybody understands. If you get into the dynamics of some of our science, people can kind of go, but odor, everybody relates to.
Do we have companies coming in for our program that do containment building, like Zipper Systems or any of those companies that are going to be around? Because I mean, that's fun parts, you know. I think the mechanics, the engineering, the kind of unique builds that I think that Bryant understands and their family. I've worked with his brother over the years for those unique projects when you're in a restorative sense of cleaning up a really dirty problem from a catastrophe. Was it mold? Was it fire? Was it animals? Man, we get to discuss so many of these interesting things. I have a great time at these shows.
Connected. We're going back to connecting. It's all like intertwined, right? And that's the beauty of the show. Is like you get the experts, you get the resources, the exhibitors, and not just that. I mean, people who want to support you, know your know what you're doing, know what your challenges are, and have tools that you can check out, resources. It's just a cool experience.
Kayla, how would you say an attendee is going to benefit by making this part of their spring? You know, what things, you know, you're an expert in marketing, you know how to connect to people, you understand the connections of our industry at biological, indoor air quality levels, manufacturer connections to so many people from IICRC through and beyond to every acronym you can imagine. Why do you think people need to be here?
So I think it's really important for people to attend because most trainings or events that you go to, you don't get the best of both worlds or all worlds. And this is the opportunity to not only connect in session or at the hands-on pavilion, there's an expo aspect, there's a welcome party aspect where you're able to actually connect and learn about your peers who you may not think you have a lot in common with, but really you do. And I think that's the beauty of this. I've made some really great friends in networking. I love to talk, it's no secret, and you just learn about everybody and where they come from, right? For example, for me, I came into this industry by accident, right? But how many other people are there that have come into this by accident and they have the same questions that we did 10 years ago or 20 years ago, depending on where we were? And this is the space that truly allows you to be comfortable to ask these questions with no judgment. I will definitely say one thing I love about the experience, I was an attendee at one time, right? I
Yeah.
wore the attendee hat, I wore the exhibitor hat, and so my lens is a little different. And what I can say is I've made so many connections and friendships and partnerships and even a base of referrals, if you will, that I still use this day. I've created my own network. And that's what this is all about. You're able to create your own network all while getting education and some sense of training and hands-on. And who wouldn't want that for 3 days? And in Florida, I mean, come on.
Yeah, we traditionally, and from the roots of this event, kind of looking back in and why we've been there, it's been these family connections and these times to be out there in a time that we can bring our family and have them do some things while we're building our business development at that time. It certainly connects a lot of the restorer mentality with the cleaner and the specialty guy. The guy that's focusing on a higher level cleaning operation of rugs or textiles that aren't as simple as maybe the apartment grade or basic commercial stuff. So you really get that connection all the way through to manufacturer. Fortunately, we've got some connections there still coming, and events are put together like this through people like with Shaw Floors, sending us product to be able to put on the floors, to actively participate in what they know to take care of it. And when it gets damaged, was it damaged to be flooded and saved, or what is it going to trap odors underneath that floor covering because it trapped moisture? So much thing we found out at these events by being together, having some time to think about it with our families around us and our business around us, and still some lack of distraction, if you will, with the paradise around us, that allowed us to focus on our businesses for a spring getaway, really getting ready ready for the year to come on. And we start to get busy in all of our industry from this point through just railing until we get to the fall, and then we get to our fall seasons, and then we pick up again, and then we have these. So I think an April time like this, being the weather, hopefully, and all things play nice. Heck, it's 5 degrees in Denver today. We didn't think it'd be that, and we deal with that. But I think that was awesome. Lisa, what about you? What's your takeaway of why you would want to be here as an attendee today?
I mean, what you guys said, you just nailed it, the camaraderie aspect. And I was talking to Kayla that I really almost want to do a special shout out to people who are newer to the industry or feel alone and that they don't have colleagues or someone just to talk about. And one of the questions I get asked all the time is, what did you wish you knew 24 years ago when you started? And when I started, I had no industry friends. I had little understanding of what resources. There wasn't as many out there as there are today. And so fast forward now, I'm happy to say I have lots of industry friends that you're my friend. Yes, you're my friend, Sean, lifelong, and Kayla. But and so like for those of you out there who feel like that is, it's not just about expertise and training. It's a whole environment and a whole network where you are comfortable and you can make friends that you can call a month later and say, hey, did this ever happen to you? I didn't get my check. What did you do when this happened? Because that's the real world. And you learn so much from that camaraderie and you gain so much strength. And I didn't have that, to be honest, 24 years ago. So if that speaks to you, this is a great place to come and get that.
We're approachable, our family, where it really is easier to connect with us than we might put on. I'm goofy. I put on goofy because I think it makes me more approachable, and I hope you know that it still comes with 30 plus years of experience to sharing that with my friends. And that's what I've always, returned to this. And I'm excited that the experience and BMP is continuing to offer great content, great connections and opportunities for our professional world to stay professional and help keeping move forward with these. So Florida's going to be a fun time, April 8th through 10th. 9th and 10th is the trade show, only 2 days of trade show. So you're not going to be overwhelmed and bored as an exhibitor. Come. You're going to connect with some quality time as well for your being there, and take value of why you need to make sure you're at our program, that these quality buying power environment, these aren't just float around. These are families. These are the people, the owners. These are the restorers, the people that are serious about their business come to a program like this and that want to grow and they're ready to grow.
Yeah.
You're just shopping, go to YouTube, go shop around. But if you're looking to actually learn, connect, and be able to implement, come to our events. The experience is there to do that.
I was definitely going to say you hit it really well. We are a family at the end of the day. I think no matter where we sit in our industry, there's so many avenues that are connected. Like you talked about, inspection, cleaning, restoration, health and safety. I mean, we can go on. And I think that's the beauty of this. This allows you to create your own network essentially. And so that, hey, if I can't do this, I know Sean can do this, or I know Lisa can do this. And then there's a base of referral, but also a base of trust, not only for you, but your customer, right? You're going to see some of your customers on a regular basis. And what better way to see them if you can't answer the problem with you and your staff, having somebody else to handle it for you, and it's all trustworthy.
That came from a good customer that felt that I treated my business like they're my family the other day. And I said, that's how we work in our industry. We're here to make the places that you live, work, play, and love healthy, safe, clean. Companies and groups like Normie, with Doug and our IAQ professionals for the health side of the industry. I recently got involved with a very unique sick patient where with our friend Mr. Pinto is going to be presenting. He is such an expert on immune compromised cleanup environments, where we become an absolute expert of just care of our customers when we can take care of them at that level, all the way through the probably our commodity customer, if you will. And our special customers need our attention. We got to connect where these guys are coming. Come shake hands. Understand these people are approachable to help you and be a resource. I called Doug recently on a client, inviting and said, Doug, what would you do as a Normie pro, in his group, and organize for mold remediators in a floor, in his, experience. And he's such a vast bit of, a knowledge connection for us. And those, there's so many connections here, our vapor tip guys, our organic treatments, we've all seen the history, and we can warp speed you to success.
And I was definitely going to say, you talked about Normie, right? And ISSA and Cleanfax. And I mean, literally, we're all in the same building. We all are showing a unified front. And speaking of Normie, they are one of our partners and we love them to death. And they're actually streaming this right now to their group on Normie Connect, right? That's the power of what we do on a regular basis, right? We want to share our information. We want to share our knowledge. And at the end of the day, it's about customers. It's about having healthy environments, safe environments, making safer choices. I think Dr. Gavin's talking about some of that too, right?
Yeah.
And so it all ties in.
Safer for us, safer for the worker, also not just for the person that's in the environment after we do our work, but I love where Normie's approach goes to conditioning your workroom air and using interior filtration of UV and ozone effectively to make a safer work environment. There's so many resources we can grab from and put in our toolbox, where it can work well for our business as restorers, as inspectors. We get our inspection guys doing flooring inspections and the ISCRC groups and other inspection to connect us to manufacturers of their products. Building envelope. We are indoor environmental professionals, IEPs, at every level, and it is awesome to be able to connect with so many worldly professionals like Lisa, Kayla. We are connected to so many, not just a local Florida come to our show and see us in Florida. Australia with Ivy coming over, and our other friends there with McFadden's and the others that are so actively presenting professionalism and representing our industry so well with their programs and pockets. Our English partners with Woolsafe and those groups that have come in part and come with the experience over the years, presenting other parts of the world. So we're not compartmentalizing what we do, because we haven't always been right in the US in the way we process things. I'm going to a class in a month, less than a month myself, on specialty dyeing of sisal and viscose to continue to get better at things that I feel I think we got to be ready for. So we learn about that at programs like the Experience coming up in April 8th, 9th, and 10th. You know, I think, and come say hi. You know, say hi to me. If I look grumpy or anything, I'm busy. Don't be afraid to say hello to me. I'm always happy to sit down and be distracted. Squirrel.
And
You never look grumpy.
No, I can't imagine grumpy Sean.
Oh.
Sean, you know, when you're going through all the expertise and all that, my head was spinning. I was getting excited, but it reminded me of one of the things, I don't know if you relate to this, is after so many years in the business, I kind of tell people this. I don't care if you've been doing it 1 year, 30 years, 40 years. At any given moment, you wake up and you will see something that you've never seen before, and it's really about having your who's. And so I was just thinking about all the who's and getting excited of the who's, because that's what you need. You have to be resourceful. Your DNA, it's not to know everything. You will never know everything in our industries. It's to be resourceful and know your who's, is what I kind of always say.
Hey, Lisa, have you noticed being a winter lull in business right now? What are you guys, you know, do you think that this is a good time for restorers in their current, I mean, we're in February right now. Do you think we should be training our people? We should be focusing on getting credentialed and updating so that we're ready when the thaw happens, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, well, it depends what area. I mean, our things have been so crazy. It's, you know, like usually I say the fall's a little slower and winter, but then, you know, depending where you live, we have all kinds of things. So, you know, I'm just a big believer on ongoing, continuous training and inspiration to the extent you can. And, you know, so, you know, it's one of those things, it's about setting priorities. If almost probably any business, but I'll speak of restoration companies, you know, there's almost never a ideal time to do certain things. And it becomes, you just got to take a time out, make it a priority. That's why some of these things slip through the cracks. And I know even for myself, I feel like I'm constantly on the go and getting pulled in a million different directions. And sometimes, like, I actually call it a treat. Like, I'll do a training myself. Like you said, you're going to training, and I've come like this close to not doing it or canceling or bailing or not showing because I feel like there's too much to do. Right. And I kind of stopped myself. This actually happened a couple months ago, and I was like, no, I really want to do this. Yeah. And this is my time. It's not going to kill me to invest this time. And I was so happy and rejuvenated. So I think that's part of it. Is it's like, yes, we know you're too busy. Everybody's too busy. Yes, there could be a loss tomorrow everywhere. But the value of taking that time out, giving you, some of your team members, just a break to get fresh eyes on things. We're so close and we're so in the go. It's like, you know, I actually joke, you know, even when COVID hit, it was like, my big revelation was like, oh, well, there's a whole world, not just the Easter, because people were coming in, but, you know, we get like that, you know, we were so focused in our towns and our business. And it's like, you know, you have to like get pushed out or push yourself out and kind of like experience other perspectives, the rest of the world. And it is healthy for our minds, but also our businesses.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of guys that are restorers that are slow starting to figure, hey, we need to become specialists in textiles and understand flooring specialists. You know, as a flooring guy that deals with flooring really actively in a lot of textiles in my business, I find the need for these restorers to understand these products and develop a whole new stream of business that they didn't know they could be cleaners as well as restorers to fill that gap, that lull, to help their business even out a lot of times is where I've made a lot of connections, and being a coach, as a coach to train their staff, teaching, doing certification classes for Aramco's and John Don's and the facilities and the independents that need a class so they're ready. It's just, I find the value times to make sure, hey, you make it slow. Don't just sit around and send everybody home. Train your people. Get ready for when the thaw happens, because you're going to be more ready, and the advantage to be able to take more advantage professionally. So
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because you nailed it. In fact, I'll kind of do a shout out to Jack Lavender, my son, but he's on our committee, and he's on our software side, but he actually even made the point at the pavilions, we're doing something a little different, is look, we need to be able to connect it to our operations. How do you implement it? How does it grow our business? How does it establish our credibility? What does it sound like? How do we leverage these different things? And so you're absolutely right. It's about the techniques and being professional and all these things. But then we want to be able to drill down and connect it. Like, okay, how do we bring it back? And then to your point, to create or identify areas where we can become experts that complement our business is just a whole nother piece of the value that the experience brings to the table.
Yeah, I think it gives us another time to filter together what's going on, to further connect what our industry needs. I'm going to the Standard Summit for the IICRC here in the beginning of March. It's another, and then instructors meetings that we're required to maintain our connections, to increase our understanding, remain relevant.
Yes.
Our industry, our professions, our homeowners, our businesses, and to continue to be growth. So I'm excited, but I'm really I feel it's a treat to be involved, to go to Florida again. Thank you, Kayla, for taking charge and a great lead there. And Lisa, getting to know y'all and making sure our family still continues to all of the experience attendees has been just awesome. And our new relationships, our new families just continue to connect through all of the webs of those that keep coming. Like the Villalobos is in Florida with Jorge and Sergio and Susan and their families. They're part of my family in my life and a day to day, and they get to connect with us here at these events and others that I get such a privilege to travel around and stay connected further. But you got to it's not a magic expensive ticket. You got to buy to show up. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you guys said it really well too. And I would definitely say this is for those who are preparing for the rest of their year. This gives you the opportunity to be proactive, right?
Yeah.
There's no better way to prepare than to go to something like this and be able to implement it. And as Lisa said, how do you build it into your operations? How does it make a difference in your business, right? There's not just softwares or equipment or, chemicals, there's a variety of that, but there's also the human portion of this, right? Or, hey, did this work for you? This might work for your business. And I think that's the other thing too, where it's full circle. It's just one of those events where you're able to interact and not feel like you're rushed or you don't have time. There's plenty of time to be able to connect. And, most importantly, I think whatever you take from this this event in particular, you should be able to walk away and be like, oh, I can do this right now. That is the goal of this event. This particular event is designed for that, for you to be able to say, man, I didn't know that, or hey, this has changed since I've last been here. There's a lot of people who are speaking who are very up to date with softwares and technologies, even interaction as far as employees, right? What benefits your employees? That's one thing that I think is a struggle for all industries, particularly ours. Our industry is very manual work, right? I think that's the other realization, and it's a struggle, and that's the stuff that we want to bring to you guys as attendees. With that being said, you guys have been attendees, right? What was your favorite part of being an attendee in the last 10 years, or maybe the first time you ever went? You're like, oh man, I need to come to this event.
Yeah, for me, it was really, I'm always hungry for what's next, what's going on, what's wanting to be prepared for the unique things. I got thrown into this dealing with specialty fabrics from the first apprenticeship I had into the industry as a cleaner and a rug guy. And so I'm always just wanting that level of how can I help my fellow cleaner. And it came from those first attendants, because I had some people that were there that shook my hand, that said hello and took the time to answer my questions. And so it was like, whoa, there is a place for this. And at that time, there wasn't some of the other media that we have now that we maybe connect, but we're really disconnected at. This is a connect that connects. And I found that at some of the original events, that's where I really, and I was a librarian, you know, I was connecting to the book level for our trade association for Pacer, one of the associates of, and the owner members of the IICRC for the Institute of Cleaning Restoration certifications. But it was that excitement that there's more like me. Ooh. How about you, Lisa?
I was gonna say meeting Sean, but
Yeah.
besides Sean, no, I agree. It's camaraderie. I love, I mean, the presentations, of course, but I really like working the exhibit room and the exhibits and seeing all the toys. I call them toys, but they're not toys, but you know, getting all the gadgets, the equipment, the products, all that stuff. It's just a great place to get up to speed and hear. And here's the thing is, you know, I kind of joke, you know, sometimes like, you know, I'll buy a $20 hot dog because the person who's selling it is so passionate and caring about the hot dog. If you follow it, does that make sense? Like, yeah. I love being around people who are passionate about what they do. And so that permeates. And then when you go around to each exhibitor booth, you're getting that passion for how they, you know, what they're doing and contributing to the industry. It's, you know, it's inspiring, a little bit of adrenaline that's you excited.
I think that passion is exciting.
Yeah.
It's driving, it's invigorating.
Yeah.
And it's that drive that actually that pushes us to want more. So really exciting to be.
Kayla, you know, you mentioned something, and Sean, you probably see this on the training side. You mentioned something about like retaining employees and that we're just doing this, you know, and on the training side, that's part of what I love about training. And that's an important message. And I encourage people, like, send your teams to this, because when they're in that environment and around people who are passionate and caring, and that they see we're not just cleaning, we're, I'll quote Ron Valega, my first IICRC instructor, who I love to this day. He said, we're not just poop suckers, you know, and it made an impact. And it's like, we're impacting people's lives. We're creating clean, healthy, safe environments. We're letting them go back to, you know, their lives and businesses and jobs and kids playing with their toys in their home. It's bigger than that. And when you're surrounded by that, it changes people's view of their careers and what's available to them. And so we get to see that in classes and trainings when when the light bulbs go off and they learn the science, and they're like, oh, I'm not just sucking poop, you know, it's cool. There's science involved and there's all these opportunities for me. And so, like, if somebody feels like they have people on their team, like, treat them and go there. Look at this. Look at all this. Like, he's oozing. I mean, so, but that's what you get to, that's part of it is, you know, get them out there, get them surrounded by all this expertise, passion, let the light bulbs go off and see their career paths here.
What I was definitely going to say to play off of that is, like, anybody in your business can attend this event and they will benefit, right? We have stuff for business owners, directors of operations, technicians. I mean, there's just an array of information that is there.
Management, hotel facilities management, hospitality. You've got a big building, a campus, a university. You know, I've been able to do training with some of those groups at, you know, on the Harvard campus. I've been able to deal with those facilities that take care of their projects. I'm going to be training and doing a class down in Louisiana and New Orleans. They said I couldn't come down the first week of March. I guess there's something going on. Mardi Gras. And then I got to avoid St. Patrick's Day. But right after that, I'm going to spend a weekend training their facilities for the airport and doing commercial training for their airport carpets, because it's so important to keep it lasting a longer time. And it's awesome. We'd love all these people need to come and connect to us and learn how we can help you with what your things are within a action-packed, passionate couple of days, and you will connect at this event. This is not thousands and thousands of people. These are the very streamlined professionals that are going to come together, and hundreds, hopefully, that are ready to connect. And if it's less than that, great. We spend more time to invent individually together to help each other grow and grow those seeds to what we all can be better with. But I look forward to helping and being part of the program.
I was definitely going to say there's an opportunity to capitalize on mentorship, right? I think a lot of relationships and ultimately mentorships come out of something like this, to be completely honest. And like you said, Sean, this isn't thousands of people where you're going to have to, like, you know, try and throw a GPS tracker at somebody that you're trying to find. No, this is actually very close knit. You know, you could go up to somebody and say, is so-and-so here? And chances are they're actually going to know who's there and if they are there or not. And I think that's the cool thing about this event in particular, is like, we are approachable. We all are approachable. And if we don't have the solution, maybe we can point you somewhere else, and it could lead to our mentorship, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, when you look at guys like Jeff, you know, with Microbial Warriors, and they put on their suits, they don't look so approachable. But when you really get down to know these guys, we're pretty darn approachable. So we are here to help on every level to realize, even if we're goofy, putting on glasses or our fronts of whatever it is, we're friends. And that's ultimately what I've always felt so comfortable about these events with, and where I find the draw of why I continue to come as part of it, is because I still feed off from that connection with all of my associates, my relationships, my previous and new and hopefully newer opportunities to help others do better and keep a cleaner, healthier world for us to live longer, enjoy each other longer, and understand that to every level. You know, we don't understand that what every person is different of what is clean. You know, what level of clean is clean. What does our cleaning do to the worker when they're doing the cleaning? Is it leaving it healthy or not? Is it making it unhealthy while the cleaner's doing their work, just so they can be healthier at the end? You know, are we being always conscious of every level of that? I'm excited for guys like Jeff and those and all the industry partners that we bring together at these to just shake hands, just to give the nod. You know, you go through the hall on these events, like, hey, it's like, yeah, I get you. I know what you're doing, and I know your part. And I realize how we're all working together to make this better for everyone that is part of it, that needs to connect.
And Sean, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I see Jeff on, so hi, Jeff. But you talk about moments and what the experience is about. So Microbial Warrior Jeff, he's one that, you know, I admired from a distance for many years. Like, you know, it's one of those stories. Like, read his articles. Like, I like his stuff. But okay. But guess where I finally got to physically meet him and have like cool conversation and get to know him and hear his passion at the experience. It was the Chattanooga. So like, that's just a perfect scenario, you know. Admired his work in the industry, reading his articles. Nicest, most approachable guy who passed along a little inspiration to me. So
I was going to say too, speaking of Jeff Jones, and he's speaking with Carrie Lesage, and they're going to tackle a pretty interesting topic. I won't spill it here. Maybe you can go look at the agenda. But honestly, that's just what's so amazing about this. We have people who have been in the industry for 30 plus years. Yeah. We have people like Lisa, you've been in the industry for quite some time, and to hear your story, right? We do have our fangirl, fanboy moments, and this is the place where we actually get to meet those people who we've really drawn our own passion and dedication from, watching them flourish, you know? And I think that's also really important, is like, this event allows you to just walk up to somebody, right? We have a happy, you know, a greeting, a little party, and we have, you know, there's a bar nearby and there's restaurants nearby. So even when the education and stuff stops, you can actually take somebody to dinner. And in fact, I think most times people look forward to that portion where they're able to connect on a different level and share a meal. You know, we break bread, if you will. And I think that's one of the most powerful ways to make connections in our industry. And this is one way to do it, right? A nice, close-knit family, if you will. And then it doesn't stop, right? It just spills over into dinner, and then next morning is coffee, and so on.
I will send a warning on that note because you gave me, I think I slept like 3 hours each night last night because there's so many wonderful people. And so that is one of the things, beware, was planning your sleep time.
Yeah, it could be work hard, play hard, plan it, come down there, make some other event times when you're down in this area. It's Fort Myers area. It's really going to be, there's some really neat coastal areas to come in. Bring a family event down there. Maybe it coincides with your spring break or something with your kids or your business. It can be a good time for you to plan some cool things. Go up to see SpongeBob in Tarpon Springs. It's just a little bit north there of Clearwater, and you can see SpongeBob isn't actually there, but they have all the Greek sponge divers, and we actually use those sponges in our cleaning business. It's kind of a fun connection to the world of where unique things, but go see some manatees or something cool up in the Floridian western region. I'll look forward to being there with you guys.
Yeah, us too. I mean, I think it's been some time since I've seen you guys in person, except for Sean. I did get to share a chat with him a couple of weeks ago, which was really nice. And that's the other thing is like, you may see people passing at other events and it's like, dang it, I wish I would have had a little bit more time. Well, we get that opportunity. I think it's really cool to have the opportunity. And the sponge fact, that's really cool, Sean. I had no idea.
There's a sponge museum there. And I also got to give a shout out because I can't go through a conversation with talking about clean without talking to the Museum of Clean in Pocatello, Idaho. One of my favorite mentors in early time, Don Aslett, passed this last year. And when Don passed, his son took over the Museum of Clean. And it's actually a museum dedicated to cleaning. Oh my gosh, how many have ever been to that? So fun facts, fun things we learn from just connecting to other cleaning professionals that not, hey, what truck mount are you using? Hey, what chemistry, what's your pre-spray? It's like, no, what industry things make you passionate past the wand and the pre-spray? Where do you get to find a life passion for it? So I'm excited to be there.
Yeah, I am too. I would definitely say, this is what this is all about. And I hope everybody grabs some nuggets of information from this. This is so important. This is why we jumped on and wanted to share with all of you. And we really, truly cannot wait to see you guys in person and give you a big hug. Honestly, I don't even think we handshake anymore. I think we hug everybody. And that's just it. We are a family. And so thank you so much, Lisa and Sean, for your time today. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. If you guys have any questions for Sean or Lisa, I can always relay them, or they're very accessible too. So again, thank you all so much for joining us today, and we cannot wait to see you April 8th through 10th in Punta Gorda, Florida. Take care.